Hello YouTube. The Tsong are among the most impressive and yet most enigmatic of all ancient Chinese jade artifacts. Their function and meaning are completely unknown. Although they were made at many stages of the Neolithic and early historic period, the origin of the Tsong in the Neolithic cultures of Southeast China has only been recognized in the last 30 years. Tsong were extremely difficult and time-consuming to produce. As jade cannot be split like other stones, it must be worked with a hard abrasive sand. This one is exceptionally long and may have been particularly important in its time. A tsong is a jade tube that is square on the outside with a round perforation in the middle. An ancient Chinese text entitled Zhou Lai, Rituals of Zhou, describes the tsong as a ceremonial object to sacrifice to earth. However, the tsong was made at least 1,000 years before the Zhou Lai was written, and its function in prehistoric times remains unknown. A group of Neolithic people, grouped today as the Liangzhu culture, lived in the Jiangsu province of China during the 3rd millennium before Common Era. Their jades, ceramics, and stone tools were highly sophisticated. The Liangzhu culture is one of the earliest springs of China's ancient civilization, whose roots extend back than 6,000 years. The Liangzhu culture from 3,300 to 2,300 BC represented the peak of the prehistoric cultural and social development in the Yangtze Delta, with a wide sphere of influence centered near present-day Hangzhou city. The Liangzhu city is considered to be one of the earliest urban centers in prehistoric China. Although it remains a mystery for many in the West, Liangzhu is well known in China for its fine jade crafting industry, its enormous, well-structured earthen palatial compound and recently discovered hydraulic system, and its far-flung impact on contemporary and succeeding cultures. The archaeological ruins of Liangzhu city were added to the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage list in July of 2019. This culture is the Yangtze River Delta. It was one of the most developed Neolithic cultures in the world. Archaeological evidence indicates that the ancient city of Liangzhu was abandoned and the culture disappeared about 4,300 years ago. We've had other abandoned, mysterious cultures, civilizations, cities throughout the history of this planet, and I've talked about them in my other videos. Now, the city of Liangzhu once had a developed culture and had advanced hydraulic structures for its time, including dams, reservoirs, and canals. The people of this Neolithic culture managed a complex water supply system that allowed agriculture to flourish, and it was all the more interesting to learn about the mysterious artifacts of this culture, the so-called Tsong or cong cylinders. The largest tsong found weighed 3.5 kilograms. Historians have suggested that this is a kind of ritual object. The original function and meaning of the tsong are unknown. In later texts, the tsong symbolizes the earth, while another well-known artifact is the bee disc, which represents heaven. The square represents the earth, and the circle represents heaven. Thus, the earth and the sky are seen in this artifact, a circle in a square. Although this does not replace the lost understanding of the functions of this subject in the past. The jade Tsong is believed to be used in worship rituals. The medium used Tsong to communicate with the spirits of heaven and earth. Most of the Tsongs were found in large, carefully constructed tombs and probably belonged to the local nobility. There is a jade Tsong found at the Jinsha archaeological site in Chengdu, China. From long cylindrical to flattened. In this regard, the binding to the earth and the sky is completely incomprehensible. In one case, the earth and the sky have a large size, and in the other, a small one. The symbolism proposed by the media, at least, requires clarification. The principal decoration on a Tsong of the Liangzhu period was the face pattern, which may refer to spirits or deities. On the square section pieces, the face pattern is placed across the corners, whereas on the bracelet form, it appears in square panels. These faces are derived from a combination of a man-like figure and a mysterious beast. The Liangzhu stone scepter is held in Tasmania, Australia. It was owned by the noted Australian art and antique collector John Dowell Davies, who died in 2004 and has passed by descent to his granddaughter. That's according to open sources. I cannot vouch for that. The Liangzhu stone scepter is carved from a single block of serpentine or possibly nephrite jade and measures 325 millimeter long by 117 millimeters in diameter at its widest. The lower section is relieved, presumably to fit into a holder, and a hole of various size is drilled through its 25 millimeters from the base. The sole original decoration is a pair of shamanistic or zoomorphic masks, Shenren Shoumian, strongly characteristic of Liangzhu work and carved in diametrically opposed positions. The upper part is covered with an overlay of scrolling gold openwork dating from a later period, possibly added as a mark of respect for an already valued object. It includes some breaks and small repairs, originally used for ceremonial or magical purposes, to generate power or to store energy. Mr. Davis traveled widely, and it is likely that he acquired the piece in Asia. So what is that being? An infinitely resourceful half-deity that in his practice of magic rides, and if magic, it rides a mythical animal able to go up to heaven and down to the earth. In view of Li Boqian of the School of Archaeology and Museology at the Beijing University, again, a resourceful half-deity that in his practice of magic rides a mythical animal able to go up to heaven and to go down to the earth. And a leading scholar, Elizabeth Charles Johnson, said the following: the image has been variously labeled as a godhead, a spirit person, Shenren, a humanized deity, or semi-human spirit power. All images are flat and primarily frontal or in profile and thus two-dimensional. The celebrated so-called royal Tsong from the Fan Shan tomb number 12 is the most revealing in defining the image of the semi-human spirit power. A human with a bracket-shaped feathered headdress and displayed arms ending in fingers literally rides an abstract animal-like spirit with large ovoid-shaped eyes and displayed body with limbs ending in claws. The superimposition of man on animal is an outright symbol of spirit power. There is no question that this is an intentional zoomorphic icon, man with animal spirit power. An abstract pair of wings projects from the human's upper arm. Clothing is covered with abstract cosmic cloud scrolls, the same one filling the eyes and limbs of the animal. Animalistic attributes comprise large circular eye sockets with pupils, eerily recalling what is close to the interpretation of the eye of the so-called big dragon on Hongshan jade amulets. A nasal bridge rises above a jaw and the mouth with paired upward and downward turning fangs. Limbs exaggeratedly long are similar to those of the human with a pair of small feather extensions, but are smaller and contracted and end in claws, suggesting a feline or a bird of prey. Is this a description of the enigmatic bird people found in legends throughout the world? Ancient tales of people that are basically gone? Or is it incomprehensible humanoids, ancient aliens? To quote Professor Lee again, the half-deity in a feather crown is just a wizard, while the mythical animal with round eyes, protruding teeth, and bird's feet is an imaginary creature with man-like spiritual nature. Chang Kwang Chi, formerly John E. Hudson Professor of Archaeology at the Harvard University, who passed away in 2001, said the following: "The wizard's operation of communicating with heaven and earth was under animals' help, so it is certainly not accidental that the magic instruments as tools of communicating with gods bear incised animal figures." Let me conclude with this. In the past 60 years, Li Boqian has always insisted on excavating the origin of Chinese civilization from the fields, and he's still active in the front line of archaeology at the age of nearly 80 years, sorting out the origin and context of Chinese civilization. In the year 2000, Li Boqian began to preside over the preliminary study of the Chinese Civilization Exploration Project, and the Chinese Civilization Exploration Project now has reached its 5th phase. Li Boqian said that the ultimate purpose of this project is to further build the development process of China's 5,000-year-old civilization history, how to develop, how to influence each other, inherit and learn from each other. Fascinating ancient culture it is. And if you want to see my research about ancient China, its aliens, so to say, its great achievements and developments and inventions and very unusual objects and stories from its past, please see the playlist of my videos. It is attached. As for the Tsongs, will we ever find out what their purpose really was? Tools of communicating with gods, or those who were a combination of man-like beings and mysterious beasts? How else could terrestrial human beings describe an extraterrestrial humanoid beings that were like them and yet different in ways we cannot grasp after thousands of years? Or were they not extraterrestrial, but some other advanced beings that had resided on our planet and may still be present in one of its hard to reach corners? We'll find out one day, I'm sure. And I'll continue to bring you research from Eurasia and China, of course. And if you like my research, my work, please support me through the links you'll find in the description to this video. Please tell others, subscribe to my channel, like my videos. Thank you for your attention to my work.